What's up guys, it's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we could be doing the match preview for Sevilla versus Barcelona in La Liga, the final match before the October international break, as Barca set their sights on leading the La Liga table. Going into the international break ahead, there is a bit of an advantage point from our side, but away game to a decent Sevilla side who have looked better over the past year is not going to be easy. Our track record against them has been good recently, but you know, in this stadium things can happen. Before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below, and let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. And also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Kickoff time for this match will be taking place at 4:15 p.m. local time, so we do have an early afternoon kickoff in tomorrow's match, and this match will be taking place at the Ramón Sánchez-Pizjuán, the home stadium of Sevilla, where we have had a pretty good track record there recently, but we know that we had some big upsets in the stadium over the past 10 to 15 years, so not an atmosphere to be taken lightly whatsoever. Let's start off by taking a look at the league table, where Barcelona are currently sat top of La Liga on 19 points. After playing 7 matches, we have 6 wins and 1 draw. Again, I think one of 2 teams currently undefeated in La Liga, with 4th place Elche, who have 3 wins and 4 draws, sitting on 13 points in 4th place. But of course, our rivals Real Madrid are 1 point behind us. They have 18 points with 6 wins and 1 loss. Of course, losing the Madrid derby last weekend 5-2, and our win over Real Sociedad has put us over on top. And you still have Villarreal on 16 points, just 2 points behind Real Madrid and 3 points behind us. Now, if you take a look at the top match this weekend, you guessed it, it is 2nd place versus 3rd. Real Madrid will be hosting Villarreal at the Santiago Bernabeu. I do expect Madrid to win this game. This game will be taking place, of course, later on today, so we'll wait and see. You never know what can happen. Of course, Villarreal have shown, in my opinion, so far this Liga season, they are probably the 3rd/4th best team this season. Usually the 4th best team, kind of competing for that position with Atletico Madrid, who are creeping up the table. I think they're around like 5th or 6th, but again, 2nd versus 3rd, another good opportunity here for Barcelona potentially to expand their gap at the top of La Liga. Now, if you take a look at our opponents in Sevilla and where they're currently standing in the league table, they are currently sat in 9th place in La Liga on 10 points. After playing 7 matches, they have 3 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. So pretty, standard record, even record so far for them. They're not doing terribly poor, not doing fantastically well, but after their form for the past few years, being near relegation zones and stuff like that, sitting, midway to the table, ahead of, Athletic Club, who you probably expect to be in the top 4, top 5 easily. They've had an okay start to the season, some big wins in there as well for their expectations as well. And if you look at really, deep, they are only, around 3 or 4 points off, Champions League / European competition positions. So again, they have done a pretty, good start so far this season, and that shows where they're currently, standing in the league table. Let's now take a look at our opponents in Sevilla. Like I mentioned so far, they're doing okay to start off La Liga this season. A very historic team in the Spanish First Division. The last time we did actually face them was at the Ramón Sánchez-Pizjuán back earlier in the year in February, where we did end up winning 4-1. Of course, in the end, it was a comfortable scoreline, but the game wasn't comfortable. I believe Barcelona went 1-0 up. Sevilla brought it back to make it 1-1. We then went 2-1, 3-1, and then 4-1. We, of course, were on top, but again, it was a tight game. I believe the last season of Xavi as well, we played away at the Ramón Sánchez-Pizjuán. His final game, I think we won there 4-1 or 3-1 as well. Fernando Lopez, I believe, scoring in both games. Lopez Ramón Sánchez-Pizjuán, but he won't be there, of course, for this game. But again, comfortable scoreline. The game wasn't comfortable for the majority of it, but of course, 3 points came the way of the Blaugrana side. Now, we take a look at Sevilla's last 5 matches in all competition. In the last match, they beat Rayo Vallecano 1-0. They lost to Villarreal 2-1. They beat Alaves 2-1. They drew 2-2 with Elche, and they beat Girona 2-0. Let's take a look at those last 3 games in all competition. Firstly, the 2-1 win against Deportivo Alaves. You can see how Sevilla do shape up in this game, specifically in a 3 4-3. They're, of course, incorporating some of their new signings in there as well. Kind of a new captain structure following some big departures from them recently. For example, like the legendary Jesus Navas. Again, it was a tight game, especially with Sevilla. I would say one or two levels above Alaves, but Alaves being at home, they did end up competing quite well. But Sevilla, very, very rugged and very, very good in the final third, which ended up letting them walk away with 3 big points. Next up, 2-1 loss to Villarreal at the Ramón Sánchez-Pizjuán. And again, another tight game where they do compete with the top team. Of course, we've seen Villarreal sat in 3rd place. It's no me feat. They did go toe-to-toe with them. I believe they brought it back to 1-1, and Villarreal scored late on, like 89th minute, to nick the game. So, they competed with the team that is, kind of performing as the 3rd or 4th best team in La Liga. They went toe-to-toe with them in their home stadium as well, and needed a last-minute winning goal from Villarreal to win the game. They again literally like this shape in the 3-4-3 setup. This is how they like to go against teams nowadays, and they do compete. They make it tough. They compact the middle of the park. They want to overload the midfield. They hit really well on counters, especially out wide from wing back, but again, just not enough for them to walk away with 3 points, but still a performance to watch out for in this defeat. And their final match in all competition was a 1-0 win against Rayo Vallecano in a stadium where we could not win there ourselves, and this came down more so to a defensive performance from them. The defense had a really good game. Of course, the goalkeeper, game man of the match. This is very much typical. I think they scored very early on as well. I think it was in the first few minutes of the game, and then after that they just sat back and took and soaked all the pressure from Vallecano. And this match shows that Sevilla do have the capabilities to go out there and defend for 90 minutes and not concede. A very good win for them, showing that they could be amongst in the European places in the Liga this season with this type of win. So overall, final thoughts on Sevilla. Good side, good team, coached by their manager Matthijs Almeida, who's come in recently as a new coach. He's, got them winning, got them, giving them a philosophy, a style of play, and identity, especially with that 3 at the back, and it's, pushing them into that top half of the Liga and maybe even for European spots. In terms of players to look out for me, it is, they have all okay players. Of course, Marcao in defense is very strong. I'd watch out for Alexis Sanchez as well, against Barcelona, former team, that could be something there as well. But they have, lone players, experience from La Liga, veterans, stuff like that. It's that kind of team. No one really sticks out and says, this is the problem, this is the threat. There's no one really there, but they're just all good players that on their day can definitely cause a threat to Barcelona. Let's discuss some of the injury updates ahead of this match tomorrow. Firstly, some big news in regards to our best player, Lamine Yamal. The club have confirmed that the discomfort in his pubic area affecting the player Lamine Yamal has reappeared after the match against PSG, and he'll be out against Sevilla, and his estimated time of recovery is 2 to 3 weeks. In the end, Lamine Yamal did relapse. Hopefully, this means that he will be back just after the international break. We don't have any, really tough games. Girona, Olympiacos. Main thing, of course, right now is looking at El Clasico at the end of the month. But this, of course, a lot of people are happy with this after he got called up to the Spain national team and stuff like that. But he is now re-injured. No game for Lamine tomorrow. Also, again, that relapse will keep him out for about 2 to 3 weeks. Nothing too serious, but hopefully this is not going to be a reoccurring thing. I think it really becomes serious if this happens again. It makes sense. We did kind of rush him back a little bit for the PSG game. I can understand the relapse, coming to fair. And if it was anytime I want him to relapse, it'd be right now. So that's the most important thing. But some positive news is in regards to Fermin Lopez, who did some work on the field over the past few days, and he is expected to be back after the international break against Girona. Same thing for Raphinha as well. So Fermin and Rafa should be back after the international break for that match against Girona, and hopefully Lamine will be back for that game. If not, worst case scenario, it could be the next week game against Olympiacos in the Champions League. But hopefully we get some good squad boosts ahead of the big month ahead. I'm only expecting maybe Gavi and Ter Stegen to be out long term. Of course, I'm hoping, of course, Fermin, Rafa, and Lamine as well can come back as soon as possible. Let's now get into lineup prediction. We're going to start from the manager, of course, Hansi Flick. I'm going to try my best to predict this lineup. I think it will be very difficult to predict because I have no idea what he's going to do. Rotation, go full strength. I will try different things. I think that Flick will go with this lineup on the screen right now, with Szczesny in goal, a back four of Eric Garcia, Ronald Araujo, Pau Cubarsí, and Alejandro Balde. Midfield three of Marc Casado, Pedri, and Dani Olmo. Front three of Marcus Rashford off the right, Lewandowski and Ferran Torres. Firstly, in that back five, of course, Chesney will come in. There is a big question mark when Balde will start this game. I think he will start this Balde this game, especially with him not being called up for the international break as well. I think Kubarsi and Eric will both keep their place, and I can see Eric going to right back and Araujo coming in. I think my main thing here is that I think that Araujo will come back in for this game from Flick's perspective. I think he'll make one rotation in the midfield with Casado coming in for Frankie. That's kind of the only rotation we can do. In the front line, of course, no Lamine Yamal, no Rafa. We know that Rashford's 100% going to start, but who will be the other front line? I think he'll go with Ferran off the left, Lewandowski up front. We of course saw this against Getafe a little bit as well. Don't think he'll start Rooney Bargi in a game like this for only 1 point advantage. We'll wait and see what happens with the Real Madrid game later on today. If they win, it'll be a more incentive to win. If they lose, maybe you have a little bit of room to experiment, but I think he will try this out because we know that Rashford has done okay on the right, even though it's not his preferred position. But it does, of course, allow our best 3 forwards to be on the pitch at the same time. We could maybe say Rooney, maybe see Tony Fernandes. I don't think he'll start Dro in this game. It's an away game. It's going to be against, a tough team in a hostile stadium. I think Omo needs to start playing some games as well to pick up some form and some sort of consistency as well. But this for me, I think the Hansi Flick will select for this match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think Flick will go with. Now I'm going to show you guys my lineup, what I would do if I was the Barcelona coach, and I have made a couple of changes from Flick's lineup selection. I have gone with this lineup on the screen right now with Chesney in goal, a back four of Kounde, Araujo, Eric Garcia, and Alejandro Balde, midfield 3 of De Jong, Pedri, and Olmo, front 3 of Rooney Bargi, Lewandowski, and Rashford. In the back line, I think that Kubarsi deserves a drop. I think I want to try something different. I want to see how well Araujo and Eric Garcia can complement each other, because I really want to keep Kounde at right back and of course Balde at left back. Want to start Araujo as well. I think he deserves to start this game, of course, as the team's captain. It was between Eric and Kubarsi. Of course, I want to go with Eric just to see how the two play. We know how Kubarsi and Araujo play. We've seen it already so many times this season, but we haven't seen an Eric and Araujo partnership quite yet. Midfield 3, I would keep it quite strong. I know you could maybe put in Casado in there, but I think this is going to be a tough game. I want to start very high, very fresh, and then make the rotation afterwards. In the front line though, I would take the risk and start Rooney Bargi off the right just to keep Marcus Rashford on the left. I also not really a big fan of Ferran Torres on the wings either. I would definitely go with Lewandowski up front. I think that Rooney showed some things against Sociedad. Maybe in a game like this with a bit more freedom, he can be much more impactful, but I just prefer Rooney off the right rather than seeing Rashford on the right or Ferran Torres on either wings, to be honest. But this is the line that I would select for this match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know if you want to pick my lineup or Flick's lineup. Time now for my score prediction. What do I believe the result will be in this match? I think it'll be quite a interesting affair. I would say tight in terms of actual play, maybe not so tight in terms of the scoring line. I have predicted Barcelona win this game by 3-1. I think we're definitely conceding. Goalkeeper and defense doesn't really give me too much confidence regardless of whatever combination Flick does decide to go with. I think we're going to be relying a lot on our front line. Can this front line score 3 goals? I think so. Rashford's looking okay. Lewandowski can finish things in the box. Really banking on Olmo performing in some sort of capacity. I think that Sevilla will be a bit more open, which hopefully will leave some space for Olmo to exploit. I can definitely see Sevilla going 1-0 up in this game or bringing it to 1-1, making it a bit of a challenge as well, like we saw against Levante and Real Sociedad and even Real Oviedo as well. That's why I went with the 3-1. I think that we can definitely see our opponents have some sort of advantage point, whether it be at a draw or in a winning position. But I'm hoping and praying that Barcelona do come out on top. I am confident we're going to win. I'm going with the 3-1 score prediction. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think the scoreline will be. So that was a match preview for Sevilla versus Barcelona in La Liga. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. The main thing on our first view, of course, is your score prediction. And secondly, on those lineups. Firstly, would I pick my lineup or Flick's lineup? What do you think Flick will go with? What would you go with? If you're the manager, leave me all your thoughts down below. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the live watch along. Set the reminder on the screen and come and join me and watch the game with me. Follow after the match by my match review. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Big game ahead. Hopefully we secured those 3 big points ahead of yet another international break. Take care and Forza Barca.